Alright, so here comes the English version of why homeworks don't make any sense. I'd like to tell you today why, in my opinion, homeworks should be banned from all schools, especially primary ones with the youngest ones. I'll tell you why it doesn't make any sense from the methodology point of view, from the emotional and also economic point of view. It simply does not make any sense. So let's start with explaining why homeworks were around for so long, and most people thought they are good for the process of learning, whether you teach languages like I do, or that was my wife, by the way. We run a language school together. So yeah, I'd like to explain why the homeworks were around for so long. So the idea was that if you repeat something over and over again, it kind of stays in your head, and that is why teachers came up with the idea that if the students repeat something that was introduced during the lesson at home, they will benefit from it more. I thought that the best idea to check whether it's really true would be to actually calculate whether the amount of time that kids spend at home doing their homework is worth all the time that is wasted during the lesson in the process of giving the homework, then correcting it, and also the time that the teachers spend at home correcting their students' work. Now, we interviewed our teachers, we interviewed our students, and the result says that on average between 10 and 12 minutes, up to 15 minutes even, is spent every lesson on checking the homework from previous class and giving the homework for the next class, while only about 5 minutes the students spend doing their homework. And it's only the students who actually do the homework, and whether you're a student or a teacher or a parent, you probably know very well that that's not always the case. Some of the students just don't do their homework at all. Whether it's because they forgot, or they decided not to do it, or they were ill, whatever the reason was, some of the students don't do their homework at all. So the conclusion is that you're wasting between 7 up to 10 minutes of the learning that could take place inside the classroom for doing something that may not have any results at all, because the students may not do the homework. Well, the conclusion is simple. It's a waste of time to give the homework and to try to correct it. Now, on top of that, you also have to think about the methodology and the time the teacher spends on the homework issues during the lesson. Now, think about the situation. You're a teacher and you're trying to plan a class, and you have to start somewhere. Now, the question is, where do you start? Do you start where you finished your last class? Well, no, that doesn't make any sense, because you gave some homework, so you have to start from the point where all your students should be after doing their homework. Now, the problem is, some of them didn't do it. Well, you come to your class, and what happens? You either have some students who are bored because you're doing what they have already done at home, or you have students who are bored and they don't know what's going on because you're you're starting your class on basing on the fact that your students have done their homework, right? So some of them, the ones who didn't do their homework, don't know what's going on. Well, the problem is always there, and there's no good solution. It's always either or, and there's always someone who's wasting even more time than the one we just talked about.